Welcome, Marek and Lee Biles. So, we're going to do another heart warm-up. Heart for excellence. Heart for excellence.
That's going to be tough already.
We haven't been disciplined in doing this with every episode, but we've got to get more disciplined in doing it. So, heart warm-up. Why don't you go first, Mark?
Oh, man.
Yeah. Give me time to think.
Throwing me into a deep end. Well, I think that an obvious one is being blessed when you're open to new friendships. Because, for example, I met Lee a few months ago, and the last thing I would expect for him to identify himself as a rebel and as somebody who got kicked out of school for being a rebel. And so the blessing that I have is just have this opportunity to get to know people deeper, because we're all guilty of it. We tend to make quick assumptions about people, and we just kind of make an assumption of what you see above the sea level, but there's just so much below. And so what a wonderful opportunity that we get a chance to sit down together before the toolbox talk and get to know each other at a deeper level. And I'm sure that we're all going to walk away with a deeper understanding of ourselves and others.
Good. Lee, you get to go second. And you can't repeat from the other one.
No one watched my last podcast, so I
Well, first of all, yes, nobody would, because it's a podcast. They can't watch it.
We're on the honor system here.
Podcast.
You listen to them. What are you grateful for?
What am I grateful for? Today, I'm grateful that God has given me a very flexible job that enables me to just say, where to today, God? And to practice that discipline of just listening and then doing is fun. I'm glad I'm not still some master to some other idols.
Good. Hey, for me, it's going to be weird, because you're probably used to hearing me say, I don't like tech. But I'm grateful for tech.
Yeah.
Because
we won't be able to do this without tech,
Yeah, because many guys that are struggling with life issues and crap.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can hear something on this podcast, Heart for Excellence, that encourages them to not give up, to not quit, and to persevere. And to pursue even more so the will of God for their lives, and to live out their calling and their purpose on point. And that they can hear that it doesn't matter where you've been, what you've done, how far you've gone, how long you stayed, that there's hope.
Yeah.
And God will always receive you with open arms.
Amen.
So I'm grateful for tech, so that people can hear these podcasts, maybe identify with a certain testimony or story, and have hope and encouragement.
Amen. That's the idea. Yeah.
So, hey, second episode with Lee Biles. Lee Biles was at our Advance 2019 in Trinity Pines Conference Center. And we talked a little bit about what the Advance was for him and coming back and some changes that occurred following that. Can you just give us a little background on that? Story, what's going on?
Well, let me start by how God prepared me for the Advance.
Oh, even better.
Because you're one crazy dude.
Mark?
I didn't know Mark.
Okay.
And you said
that's a very
you're
keen
going
observation.
to Advance. And I was just like, no, I don't do those things. I don't go to these fringe kumbayas. I don't believe in that. I go to a mega church with mainstream ideas, and I practice a well-known, well-studied version of Christianity. I'm not a fringe church person.
You want to drink the Kool-Aid?
And I was a little nervous dealing with you specifically, because you're not one to plan details. And here I am. Lodging is in your hands. Food is in your hands. I've never even been to Trinity Pines. I'm driving, and I came in the dark. There's no lights.
That place is like a horror scene movie in the dark.
Oh, man, I thought it was beautiful, but I saw it in the daytime too.
No, not only did I have to have faith in God, I had have a lot of faith in you to attend. And He puts me in charge of tech. You put me in charge of the sound equipment, which is something I have skills in, but nobody to contact about what they have. You told me to look it up on the website.
David Johns. It was supposed to be David Johns.
And then David Johns, who's probably a very, very good godly man for sure, but his plate is very full. God has blessed him with many challenges.
What a polite way to characterize it.
And so the funny thing is I'm like going into the week, going, God, I don't know what this weekend's about, but I have. It's been a long time since I've given up a weekend away from my family. I don't do that very often. My kids. Once a year, I take my son on a father-son retreat, and once a year, my wife takes my daughter on a mother-daughter retreat, and then we go camping every year. So we do a lot of family stuff, but we don't do a lot of dad goes off, mom goes off. We don't do those things. Yes. And so here I am signing up for this event that wasn't cheap, but it was affordable. You did a good job. But at that price, I was wondering what in the world we're getting, because that was a good value. And they signed me up to do a job that with no instructions. And so funny thing, so I'm studying that week to prepare my heart for this chaos, because I'm like, I don't know what this is going to bring me, but it's going to require a lot of patience and a lot of heart for other men, because this is going to be pure chaos. God moved in a mighty way. Thankfully, everything was very smooth. I mean, very well run. Yeah. I enjoyed it a lot. But one of the things that I was learning ahead of time was this getting outside your mindset of this is a traditional. The American mind of men and their careers was really being crushed that week. I spent a lot of time watching Francis Schaeffer messages on the How Then Shall We Live, and my heart was just wrecked, going, man, what are we doing? And so I show up to this well prepared. I knew a lot of people that were going to the advance. You bumped me with none of them.
You know what?
None of them.
I didn't do any. Like I said, hey guys, and I'm not a micromanager. It's like if you need help, let me know. Take care of it. I trust you. It's like at this age and this stage of the game, if I don't trust people, I ask. I won't ask them.
Well, that's what was one of my learnings.
And so Bill, he did such a great job. Bill Beavers, I love that man. We did a podcast with him. But just the guys that I did not have to micromanage, did not want to micromanage, would not micromanage.
That was part of my learning. So here I am. I look at the roster. Well, let me back my day up a little bit. I have a very flexible day, and so I was like, yeah, no problem. Sign me up. I'll even be there early. Is what I had in my mind. If everything went wrong on my day on Friday, the day we're supposed to be out there, so I arrived late. I'm running sound. I don't know if you're talking without me or not. And then I called David. I said, David, I'm going to be late. And he goes, I'm not there yet either. What? And so what was humorous about the whole entire weekend was I think that's how God and organizations that are godly organizations are run. Give tasks to faithful men, and it works out.
Yeah. But here's the beauty of that. Like, it's such a broad topic, but again, it would take hours for us to figure out exactly what we mean by each word, because I know all our brains are a little bit like that. But here's the short, gist, nutshell version for me, is I used to try to plan, micromanage, control everything, right? And after all my life collapsed, again, what did I learn? I don't control squat. And all I have to do, and this is where I've said before to you guys, and you guys would probably take exception to my perspective on this, is that if I just do my best to be diligent and faithful what God puts in front of me, He's got to take care of the rest. I still might sink when I get out the boat, but Jesus will still reach down and pull me out. And so for me it was, I'm just going to give it my best, and I'm not going to stress. Our worship leader didn't even show up. He says, I got to take my wife to the emergency room. I don't know what to do. I said, well, take your wife to the emergency room. What do you mean you don't know what to do?
We got our worship from a cell phone.
Right? I don't care. I said this. I had this conversation with Satan. I said, I really don't care. We're going to just trust God. So basically, screw you, Satan, because God is in control.
But that did not stop. Every single presenter going, can you download something from me? Do y'all not realize we're in the middle of nowhere where Wi-Fi and cell phone signal does
There
not
was 3
exist?
bars
on your phone,
or maybe 2.
We couldn't even download.
I know.
That was for talking only. And so it was also an aha on how dependent we are on technology.
Yeah, true.
How we don't seem to know how to get anything done without being wired in, which is exactly where God's trying to teach us. Everything you do is useless if you're not wired into me.
Yeah. Wow.
Bottom line.
That's a great analogy, yeah.
Bottom line.
That's what I got this weekend.
Bottom line.
It's like this, everything you do, useless. Useless. And I think in the church we try to even take the Bible to PG and G, when the reality is that the Bible was meant and written for men, the real men.
You mean there's rape and murder and thievery and like idolatry and
I don't think
in the Bible.
I don't think God pulls any punches when He says that what we offer Him as our best is still junk.
It is, or righteousness. Our righteousness are as filthy rags. So you come to the advance, and you're kind of wrestling with yourself, and when is this going to be? And
expecting a train wreck.
So what's going on here? What's God speaking to you? Or what's going on in your heart, or your head, or your soul?
Well, many moons ago, I came to the same realization as you. Is that I was an IT project manager, where my job was to plan and control, and I knew that only God knew what the future held, and only God has this whole thing under control. So I came to a place of humility in project management a long time ago, but still an understanding of I'm a steward of His resources. And so what the biggest challenge I had with the event was this paradox of giving the Holy Spirit all power over all things and all decisions, at the same time being a good steward. I mean, I just work here.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do my best.
Yeah.
But God, you keep moving stuff around and changing the schedule.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing my best to follow God's calling, but you keep changing the target.
Yeah.
But God is consistent. God is holy and never changing. And so what I realize when I use a life analogy of a triathlon, and I was like, Lord, you keep moving the target. And He's like, yeah, I know, but we're still in the same race. You're just looking at a different milestone.
Yeah.
You're not seeing the whole race.
Yeah.
The race has never changed. You're looking at a different buoy.
Yeah.
Or a different mile
Your
marker.
perception is expanded.
Yeah, you saw the mile marker as the finish line. And He's like, I'm just getting started.
So what's going on at the advance then at this point for you personally?
For me, right now in the advance I changed jobs recently, so I became a lone wolf again, and so a lot of the circles I ran with and the men I ran with went away. My schedule changed significantly, and so it's a chance to reestablish with a bunch of new men that are looking to follow after Christ and wholeheartedly all in. So it's a little bit of a reset on my social network. But a lot of the same men that I run with, I still do, but our schedules just don't sync up anymore. So this is an opportunity for me to
see. So at the advance, from understanding you, basically it was, in a sentence, how would you define it? Was it God just saying, like, what happened in your heart personally, or what was it for you?
I think I shared with you at probably one of our prep meetings. You know, I'm really struggling with anger, right? And it was really good the first night, I think it was, that we were like, who has a problem with lying, cheating, stealing, and pornography, and cheating on their wives? And people would raise their hand. And it would be scattered.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think it was day 2 in the morning session, someone says, who's struggling with anger? And like 90% of the men in the room went like this. I'm like, well, that's... Not only did I feel like, okay, good, I'm not alone. I mean, I knew I wasn't alone because I coach a lot of men and they're struggling with the same thing with me. But it put me in a like, but why? Why are we struggling with anger? And you kept telling me grace, which I 100% agree with. But I didn't get it. I didn't get it. And what I think I got recently, and it was probably part of the present, you know, if my week was a normal curve, the advance was the highlight, but I was already on that path and coming into it. And so as I was decompressing from the advance and putting it into real action, it was circle back to the project management of, here's the project management. It's like I had already learned that I have no control over what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I already knew I didn't know the future, but I still felt like I knew what the scope was. You're like, no, you got the scope wrong. You're yelling at your kids and your wife and yourself because you got the wrong. You're trying to do the wrong things. If I see my work as a quest to know Him, Philippians to know Him more intimately, that the goal is, the scope is, while you're doing all this other stuff, whether some of it will work out, some of it won't, some of it was all you, some of it was all God. If the quest is to know Him, and if that's happening, that's success.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so that's where the automatic part comes in. Is that's my definition of success. How do I make that automatic? There's only one way to make that automatic. Is surrender. That is the only automatic. Once it's not me, that's the definition of automatic. It's not me. I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Automatic. So then, how did your perspective change, as we talked about a little bit on the drive-in, is at home? What did that look like, the application, real-world stuff?
So I got home, and I was like, so how do I apply this? And so application to me is, okay, here's my methodology of how the world works. Let's reconcile my methodology of how the world works and do some exercises. How is this agile? How is this lean? How is blah, 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 blah.
Six Sigma.
Because if my quest is to be perfect,
You want to make it a process.
I have a process.
Yeah.
That's how my mind works. So that process, I went through it, and I came across a podcast that says, if you see it, if you don't like it, fix it. And so I've purposely said, okay, what is it that's making me mad? What am I doing about it? And so sometimes the answer was, God, it's yours, because there's nothing to do. I don't see it. And after I do that, the yelling's over. You don't get to yelling after you've had that conversation with God. God, it doesn't happen.
So you get home, and now you're wrestling through anger. You're believing, trusting God with the anger, for the anger. We talked a little bit about grace. Maybe God is working on your heart during the events on how to apply grace. You get home. Nothing really changes at home. But what the big change is maybe in your heart or your mindset. Is that what starts transacting? So then what are the effects and the benefits now of home? What does home look like now versus before?
I think I'm more consistent, because by not blowing up, once you've blown up, nothing you say afterwards is logical.
Yeah.
And so
Received.
Yeah. So the kids don't understand it. My wife doesn't understand it, and sometimes I don't even make sense. Right. And so there's nothing for them to follow. But when I don't ever reach that point, it's more, it works out. Sorry.
Yeah.
A little distracted.
There's other people over here.
So basically what you said is basically things have settled down at home. You actually started eliminating things out of your life or schedules that were cumbersome or not essential to where you want to be and where you want to go.
When something bothered me, I had to process that, going, am I going to do anything about it? If the answer is no, then I got to give it up to God or give grace.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to do something about it, well, then that's kind of like the holy discontent to do something about it.
Yeah.
So if something's not getting done around the house, am I going to ignore it and give grace, or am I going to do something about it, or am I going to give it to God? One of those three. It's one of those buckets. Anger was not one of those three, and I found myself most of the time, just do it. Be a good team player and help out, or offer grace, going, life's not perfect. That's the best that they can do right now, and accept that.
That's good. So to close, as we wind it down here then, okay, so we did the events. It was really grassroots, just a bunch of guys inviting a bunch of other guys saying, one thing we're going to do is just pursue the heart of God. Real simple, right? That was not what you're used to, because big church and production and established. What did you think of the events overall for you? Like, what did you experience? What are your thoughts or takeaways in 60 seconds?
Let me put it in a work term. Minimum viable product. You don't need it, or you haven't proved that you need it. So just go. As you go, make disciples. And some things will work out, some things are not necessary. And it's hard to tell which is which until you're actually in the middle of doing it. You're like, oh wow, we didn't need a PA, so therefore, why in the world did we, anyway, blah, 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 blah. Oh, maybe we should have had more food, or, let's figure it out. Figure it out. Don't worry about it. Minimum viable product was 3 or more gathered. Bam, done. Everything else was icing on the cake.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Good stuff, guys. Well, hey, good talking with you all today. And we're going to head over to the toolbox lunch.
Amen. All right. God bless, guys. Talk to you soon.